Hello and welcome to Let's Review. Some games make you think, some games push the bounds of your emotions, and some just want to fart around and have a good time. Deadpool most definitely falls into that latter category, but while it's having fun, does it actually remember to be a good game? Well, to answer that, we start as we always do, with the gameplay. Gameplay-wise, Deadpool is a pretty generic action game.
This is the main gameplay screen of Deadpool. This is actually from a very early part in the game. However, since I'm replaying this using all the upgrades I've unlocked, I'm hilariously overpowered at this point. Though admittedly you're kind of hilariously overpowered anyway. So as you can see, you've got your melee attacks, so light attacks, heavy attacks, and those are pretty effective. You can also counter-attack when the enemy tries to hit you. And as you can see, the enemies just kind of pinata and drop a load of stuff when they die.
Why are we here again?
You know, these things, for example, are ammo tokens, so I could use one of our guns. That is the incredibly overpowered pulse rifle, which is just wonderful. And as you can tell, Deadpool and the voices in his head never really shut up.
What are we doing again?
Elevators. Are you even paying attention?
Of course I am. Making sure you were. Technology. Ain't it?
So, because I've got a whole bunch of stuff unlocked, that includes counters that use my guns, and I should demonstrate momentum. Momentum attacks are along the side there, and different ones do different things. So that's the most basic one you get. There's also this one, which is quite fun. Of course, firing off there was completely pointless, but fun nevertheless. Yeah, and as you can tell, more bad guys are going to be coming, and
I hope it was worth it.
The elevators are disabled. Oh,
there we go. Shoot a thing.
And wait for him to come downstairs.
Or we can
And now there's lots of enemies with guns, so we're going to want to take them on at slightly longer range in a gunfight rather than.
Like this guy. We should keep him around.
Maintenance.
And these guns do charge. I can swap some of my other guns for demonstration purposes. And the guns are very, very powerful and do a hell of a lot of damage. And thanks to Deadpool's healing factor, you can survive pretty much anything, provided you break off and give him a chance to recharge. There are also other choices of melee weapons, so that's a faster melee weapon. And there is a slower melee weapon, which is the hammers, which you can unlock if you wish to. I haven't bothered. There's also a lot of platforming in this game in addition to the combat sections, but yeah. As I say, that's about the level of this game.
Yeah, something like that.
You'll notice that my ability to use the Shift-C one has vanished because I changed to a different weapon. You've got to unlock a different one for each weapon. There are 4 main range weapons. So you've got shotguns, which as you can tell aren't terribly good at range. The pulse rifle, which I demonstrated earlier. Your submachine guns, and your pistols. And your pistols are actually very, very powerful. You've also got grenades and that sort of stuff, so I can throw them for demonstration purposes.
My, what big generators you have.
Is that code?
Nah, innuendo. Innuendo, I forget that.
Yeah. And honest to God, that's basically the gameplay.
This is what I think it is. Jackpot!
It's a group of enemies spawns, you fight them, and the problem is there's not a massive amount of variety to them. You run around, you pull a switch.
Ooh, scary. I'll let those elevators work again. I'm so sick.
You run around, so you go back here, for example.
Get down there and fix it.
And there's a whole bunch of dudes, so it's... As you can say, this is fairly early in the game, so it's still doing tutorial type stuff.
Momentum to do awesome moves like that. We can get more momentum moves by upgrading our weapons.
Yes, thank you, Deadpool, I know.
High combos mean more Deadpool points, which mean more awesome upgrades.
And you do have upgrades, which I briefly look at here. So, for example, if we wanted to upgrade here, number of upgrades available, and you need to kill people with them in order to unlock the ability to use the upgrade. So if I went to my swords, for example, I've got all the upgrades purchased there.
A lot smoother if my reputation precedes.
And there's not a
I think
massive
you
amount of
need to leave
complexity to any of this
survivors for
stuff.
that to happen.
It's functional, but not much more.
You gotta give me
And
that.
counter-attacking these guys is good because they can block. Or if you're like me, you just use the counter-attack that lets you shoot them in the face. And fundamentally, that's kind of it for the gameplay of Deadpool.
From a gameplay standpoint, Deadpool is not particularly impressive. It's not bad by any means. It's perfectly functional and reasonably competently put together, but it doesn't have any flair or spark. It's exactly as I described it earlier. It's generic. And while it is certainly a well put together game, there's nothing in the gameplay that's going to grab you that makes it stand out from other titles. It's alright, but nothing more than that. The plot of Deadpool is honestly not very good, and frankly I'm sorry to be the one to break that to you. The problem is, I can't tell if that's on purpose. Given that one of the earliest jokes in the game is Deadpool receiving a copy of the script, getting bored within 5 seconds, and then rewriting the whole damn thing himself in crayon. So the character's fourth wall breaking nature has survived the medium transfer then? Oh, good lord, yes. There have been games I've reviewed in the past where I've said that if you don't like meta humour, it probably won't be for you. This is truer for this game than any other game I have ever played. There are sections that suddenly go 8-bit just because Deadpool's used up the entire game's budget already, and frankly High Moon can't do anything about that until he yells at them to insist they increase the budget. And hell, there's an entire pool party sequence that exists solely inside his head. Does that not become aggravating after a time? Honestly, it's the best part of the game. Deadpool as a character is very much someone you will either love or hate, and if I'm honest, I kind of love the red-suited bastard. It certainly helps that he's being played by Nolan North, who is clearly having an insane amount of fun playing both Deadpool and the 2 extra voices inside Deadpool's head. And frankly, that bleeds through. The fact that the main plot is on the weak side is actually counterbalanced by the characterization of the, for want of a better word, hero being so strong. Would you not have preferred both? Well, obviously. The plot itself is pretty dull, as I said. It takes you from Deadpool's home through some corporate offices belonging to some bad guy or other, and eventually onto Geonosia, an island that will be very familiar to X-Men fans. It also gives you the opportunity to slap Wolverine across the face many times, which I'll admit never actually gets old. You are not a fan, then, I take it? Well, I thought he was cool when I was 12, and then I grew up. It probably doesn't help that the X-Men films as a whole have been less and less interesting to me as we've gone on, to the point where I haven't even bothered seeing the last 3 in the cinema. But look, that's not what I'm here to talk about. The thing about this game is that it feels very small. Cable popping up and telling you that the world is in peril is all well and good, but you never really feel that. And the ending in particular feels like something of an anticlimax. Wait, was this game not meant to have been written by Deadpool himself? Yeah, and that makes it even worse. Given Deadpool's lunacy, this game should have ended with a fight against a T-Rex on the back of a spaceship hurtling towards the sun, while thousands of bikini spacesuit-wearing women cheered us on. Not in a dull arena fight against waves of the same enemies we've been fighting the whole game, and a whole bunch of clones of the main villain. Bikini spacesuits. Hell yes, bikini spacesuits, and fan art community, if that's not a thing, somebody make it a thing. Despite the problems in this game's plot, I can honestly say I did have a lot of fun with it. But that is entirely down to the character of Deadpool himself. If you like the character, and his box office receipts indicate you probably do, you will like this game. If you don't, you will hate it. The graphics are fine. There's nothing really exceptional about them, but they are reasonably well put together. There's some decent texture work, and overall it runs pretty smoothly, albeit with the occasional frame rate hitch. It's also worth noting that I didn't encounter any significant bugs throughout, which is always nice to see. Overall, from a technical standpoint, it's perfectly fine. The art style is perfectly fine, largely because it does have a very stylized comic booky feel to it. The enemy designs, however, are just kind of boring. It's a lot of variations on the same theme of guy in face covering mask. And frankly, that's disappointing. The level designs similarly. You've got sewers, you've got offices, you've got bombed out ruins. We've seen all these things before, and there needed to be a lot more crazy in this game, especially in the location design, because frankly, it's Deadpool. Insanity is his shtick. You know, where's my level set on Jupiter or on the surface of the sun? I don't care that it's impossible and ridiculous. It's Deadpool. Look, there is nothing at all wrong with the art. It's just that it's a bit dull. The music is okay, a little generic, but they do make some good use of some licensed songs. The sound effects, likewise, are functional, and I'll admit to really quite liking the sound effect for the pulse rifle, but again, not much more than that. The voice acting is actually really good, or at least it is for the title character. Because everybody else very much gets pushed to the back, they don't have an awful lot to do. But because Nolan North, as I mentioned earlier, is clearly having so much fun, a lot of that bleeds through, and overall, it's a very enjoyable performance. Overall, the audio is pretty good. So, did I enjoy Deadpool? Honestly, yes. Should you buy it? This will depend very much on your enjoyment of the character. If you like Deadpool, you'll like the game. But that does come with caveats. The campaign is very short, only running to about 5 hours. And the gameplay itself is fairly generic. The level design is particularly boring. And while it certainly has elements that are solid, it will be disappointing if you're looking for a strong gameplay experience. However, there are so many of the parts that make Deadpool such a lovable dickhead that I am willing to forgive it a lot, but I wouldn't necessarily encourage you to get it at full price. If you can pick it up in a sale, it's probably worth it, but at 30 quid, I think they were really rather pushing their luck. Now, if you'll excuse me a moment. Hello? Yeah? Yeah, I can do that. Okay. Yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, bye. It appears Vanessa needs to talk to us. I'll see you later.